Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode. Hold on, let me pull it up. Normally I do this beforehand. The fourth movie club episode, it looks like.
Did you bring the popcorn?
I can make some.
I'm gonna hold off on making the popcorn. I'm gonna say. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a little loud, and like when you get new teeth and stuff. I don't know how you talk the entire time you're going. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? To be fair, there's probably some freaks over there who get who get really we'll say aroused by those noises too. So who really knows?
I was gonna say may have found the next ASMR thing.
Hey, I'm just saying, if
Seeing
it
as
works, it
how that's
works.
so popular.
Cool.
We haven't introduced ourselves. I'm
Oh,
AJ. That's Mike.
hi.
This is the movie club. We talk about, in this case, an old movie only. Normally, we watch a new movie and an old movie. But we didn't do the new movie because we've got an interview coming up later
At
in
the
the
end,
show.
it's exciting.
And as such, the next episode you listen on this feed will be episode 6 of the regular show. And that will also have an interview. So the main episodes will probably be a little bit shorter, but they will have an interview tacked on. So
hmm
yeah, and this episode's movie we just watched the 2000. It's 2009, right?
Yeah, it's 2009, which is we'll get to it, but like I was kind of surprised because like I legitimately that thing ages decently well.
Yeah, the 2009 Star Trek.
Yeah,
So the first in the J.J. Abrams series.
trilogy. It's trilogy right now because technically that fourth Star Trek's on hold, isn't it? Wait, no,
That
no.
thing's been up
The
and
third one
down.
wasn't even JJ. I thought. I thought the third one was
No,
someone
the
else.
third one wasn't him. I don't believe.
It was someone. I thought it was a Fast and Furious guy.
What was the name of it?
Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond was directed by Justin Lin. Yeah, he was the director of the first. No, of a bunch of the Fast and Furious.
I was gonna say that's why I thought that was the whole thing is because it was very action heavy. Because and you could totally tell like it was a different person.
3, 4, 5, 6, I believe, is what he did.
So what people define as the bad one and the good ones.
So
A bad one and the good one. I thought three was not the best always. Fast.
it's my. Why does it go to produce? Uh, my favorite
Which is your favorite?
Tokyo Drift.
Is that three?
Yeah,
Oh, then my bad. I was thinking three. I was confusing three and two probably.
two's okay. 3 doesn't get a lot of likes because obviously it's not the normal. Like it's the
hmm
Fast and Furious without any of the Fast and Furious cast.
Okay, that's because I know people. That's the one people go. Hmm.
Yeah, people aren't a huge fan of it, but to me, it's my favorite because of the scenes in it, the
Okay.
car scenes in it, which obviously the Fast and Furious movies were originally car movies. They weren't these just action movies with
About family.
yeah. So 3 was, obviously it's the Tokyo and Japan car culture, which for a lot of people was new
Mm-hmm.
at the time because that came out in '06.
Wow.
That
So
movie
yeah.
ages a little rough because there's a lot of very specific like tech and stuff that you see.
Mm-hmm. So while we're on this, do you just kind of go over anything fun or intriguing you've watched or played correctly before we get into the bulk of this?
Um I know there's one on Hulu, which is the one I watched, but I think there's one on Netflix as well because there's 2 of these documentaries about the Fire Festival.
Firefest. I don't think I've heard of this.
That was the one that it was supposed to be in the Bahamas and
Oh, okay. I've definitely heard about this. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the shit show.
yeah.
Yeah, There's one on Hulu. It's really good.
Interesting.
It's more of the like they interview basically everyone, right? So they interview people that went, the guy that created it,
Mm-hmm.
investors that would have invested in his company, the PR company that did the social media campaign, like news people, lawyers, like all this, like to basically talk about this whole thing.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting, and it's weird because uh, the guy that founded it is Billy
Zane?
McFarlane.
Oh.
Um, and he's interviewed in this.
Oh, that's be interesting. Is he
Yeah,
like at least ashamed or something?
it's weird.
Because in my head, it's like I know you'd be interviewed because like of course you would be, but at the same time you're like, how do you respond to this when people are like, what happened?
Yeah, and he obviously puts his spin on everything,
Right, because of course he does.
and he wouldn't talk about the criminal investigations
Mm-hmm.
because
Because
he was
right,
booked for wire fraud and
I also assume legally he can't. Is my guess.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's just an asshole.
That's definitely intriguing. I'll give you that. That's very interesting.
It's really interesting though because it like they interview the guy that was the brainchild behind the whole social media campaign for it,
Mm-hmm.
which he worked at probably the coolest name ever. It's Fuck Jerry is the name of the company.
Really?
Yeah, and they do like they're Instagram superstars. They have like 30 some odd million followers. And they do a lot of
Wow.
these campaigns for companies.
Okay.
And it was pretty interesting. And apparently the other one was done by the Fuck Jerry team and Vice.
Hmm.
So that might be interesting, I think,
But it's Vice,
because
so
like
like,
like any Vice documentary obviously is
we both know what you're saying, but yeah.
like it has an agenda, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think it would be interesting to see because like the people that got scammed out of Firefest are the people that like I think Vice is trying to aim towards, like the millennials, like,
Mm-hmm.
and influencers and stuff like that.
I
The
don't know what you're
people
implying.
the people that like legit like it was a minimum of I think $1,000 to go to this.
So it sounds like normal Lala.
Well, but at least Lollapalooza was established and it
That's
was
true.
in Chicago, so like even if it was a shit show, there was still stuff to do.
Right. That's again, that's valid.
So, and then so the kicker is like nothing was done.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they had rented out houses for like super VIPs, which
Really?
could be upwards of like $500,000 for a weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. And they had all the keys to the houses that they apparently paid like $2 million to rent all these houses. They lost the box of keys. And you can hear the guy giving the interview like, why didn't you just tell the people you lost the keys? And Billy's there like, well, like he's obviously like
Yeah.
the gears have ground because his scam is no longer working. Like he can't spin this the way he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very interesting one to watch. So yeah, that's on Hulu. Like I said, there's one on Netflix, but I don't know if it's the same one or if that's the Vice one or what.
Oh. So Interesting. So I've watched a few things this past week 'cause I've been bored and kind of sickish. Otherwise though, the thing that stuck out to me most, and we kind of talked about it, me and you, was I saw this. It was a 1984 movie. It was called Quiz Show, and it's all about like the 1950s like game show scandals, like when they were fixing game shows and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so intriguing because it's based on a true story, like that it's dramatized story. It's actually directed by Robert Redford, which is interesting. But it's so insane. Like when you look up of like they used to just be like they just prepared the contestants of like, nope, we're gonna tell you the answers and like this is just how it is. And then one person ruined it.
Yeah. Well, and like the thing of it is, so there's that one. There's the one about press your luck.
Yeah, there are Price is Right one. Which is
No,
funny.
no, press your luck was
Oh,
big money, no
here.
whammies.
So no joke, that's like one of my favorite game shows. At least the more modern version of it is.
That one's really interesting because I mean that story can be told in 15 seconds. It's the guy figured out the pattern.
Right.
I mean all of these things, right, are they figured out the pattern.
Which is why quiz shows are interesting because it's not a pattern at that point. It's
Right.
actual. Do you know it?
But yeah, so the press your luck one's pretty good. The one on Amazon about Price is Right.
That one's intriguing because like technically he didn't break any rules.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, he was just smarter than all of them.
Yeah, nothing there in that was broken. But watching that, and I know they cut to it during the documentary,
Mm-hmm.
but I went back and watched the Kevin Pollak show with Drew Carey.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about it a little bit more, but not too
Mm-hmm.
much more than what they actually show in the documentary. Drew Carey was pissed.
Wouldn't you be like a point? You're like, it's my second year on this job. Like I have literally at that point realized it was a dream job. He's like, I
But
don't want.
the thing of it is, he didn't want that job.
Right, but like if you listen to when I watched that one, I also watched a different game show documentary and like Howie Mandel talked about. He was like the 100th person they asked for Deal or No Deal, but like he went, it's the most successful thing I've ever done.
Yeah. If you get a chance watching that Drew Carey Kevin Pollak show, it's a 2 hour video, but you can skip to like 15 minutes in, so it's about an
Mhm.
hour and 45 of him talking with Drew Carey. It's really interesting because apparently he was like the third person that they were looking into to take over for Bob Barker.
Because how do you follow Bob Barker? Like if you
Yeah.
independent of what do you think of game shows, how do you follow Bob Barker?
Yeah,
You
and I
can't.
mean, obviously it's something that, they need to, tread very carefully because if you don't, then the people are going to get pissed.
Right, but then it's also you when you talk about you're following an icon, like you literally follow an icon who basically like
Well,
insanely
it was like,
revolutionized a thing.
who took over after Johnny Carson?
Um,
Leno?
Leno, because that was the whole. It was between Leno and Letterman, and that was why Letterman got a show.
Which, I mean, Leno was still kind of he was a big deal. He obviously wasn't.
He basically filled in for Carson all the time. Is how he got that a lot too.
Yeah. But I mean, he was known, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah, like he had it back. Where like Drew Carey was known, but you're not known as the level of
He
Bob
was
Barker.
Yeah, he was known for
The Drew Carey show.
Who's Line and Drew Carey show and Power of 10.
And again,
So
all
obviously
these,
he
like,
had
like, Drew,
he had some following, but it wasn't
Who's
like
Line and Drew Carey show are both like award-winning shows. To put example.
yeah.
To be fair.
So yeah, and I mean, just his like, I don't want to do a game show. Why would I want to do a game show?
And it's funny, but all of them say this, and then all of them, if you listen, like I saw a thing, it was a documentary actually, hosted by who does Jeopardy? Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Trebek like hosted a documentary about game shows. It was very like he was interviewing people. And it was totally, and everyone's like, anyone who does game show was like, no, this sounds stupid. It was freaking Pat Sajak was like, I'm a successful weatherman. Why would I want to do a game show? Was the actual thing he told the interviewer, which I think is hilarious.
Well, and then you
He's
hear
like, I'm a
you hear
weatherman.
Drew Carey's day. He talks about his day. He goes,
Yeah.
most days I roll up at like 11:45.
Yeah.
We start filming at
Yeah, they do, what,
12:15.
I think it's 3 shows a day or 2 shows a day.
No, they do 2 shows a day. He takes a 2 hour lunch, and they're out by 6. and they do that 3 days a week.
And he does. I'm like, this does sound great. And if you need to, you just do a few extra recordings here or there to account for it if he goes on vacation.
Or you just do a rerun.
Right. But the point is though, like, relatively, like, I know when you're there, you have to be on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's zero work, but it's so interesting, like the amount of time work wise it is.
Well, especially for him, like, because he doesn't have to do anything. Like,
He has to show up. Like, literally, it's that hour you're on air. You have to be perfectly on air.
well, and since it's not live, they can do whatever they want.
That's true.
So, like, if you flubbed a line, they could just redo it.
Oh, that's like one of those shows of like it's like Jeopardy. Like they just kind of go and they hope they're in the time limit, or they have to shave stuff here or there,
Yeah.
which is always interesting too. Like if they have to like shave, they like there's stories of like them shaving edits like with the fucking razor to make it look natural, but like just saving time.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's easy ways to do that. There's also tricky ways to do it.
Right. So you only have so many easy ways you could shave though. At a certain point, you have to go to the tricky ways.
Well, at least with Jeopardy, you can cut a lot of time with Final Jeopardy.
That's true. Make
Like,
it
I
seem
mean,
a
a
little
lot
bit-
of time being like 10 to 15 seconds,
But that still could be a lot of time.
which in TV is a lot of time because if you figure a half hour show is really 22 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and you can save 15 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder if they do, like if maybe they do extra categories
Mm-hmm.
and then they just cut those entire categories out.
I've always wondered. That's one of those interesting ones. I can see that too.
But how would they do that? Because they only have the X amount of spots. I think Wheel would be easier to do that.
Yeah, because the wheel, you could just because it's him talking. So you keep the audio, you cut the video part. Yeah, you could do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Game shows are interesting. I don't like watching them.
I like some. There's so my one of my favorite game shows, which is they stopped doing since it's apparently super hard to do, is 1 vs 100.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because it was uber difficult. Like
And it was
Any of
Bob
those where you-
Saget.
any of those where you play with the, like a large group
Mhm.
is very difficult.
But like there was such an interesting premise. I thought at
Yeah.
least. It was, are you smarter than every? But it's very interesting. You in theory could have won that game show in one question if you could have got everyone else to be wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting. You know, most shows like you go this one out. No, the whole point of that show was, let's see how many you can knock out.
Which, I mean, they had to have at least 100 questions for each show.
You probably just have. My assumption is you have a tank of 1,000 questions and you just kind of go
Yeah.
through them for the shows. And like if you running low, when you know you're running low, you have writers write more or whatever. Like
Or you
You
just
probably-
recycle them. Like,
right.
if you have 1,000 questions, people aren't going to know when you, like, that's theoretically, even if nobody got eliminated or one person got eliminated, that's 10 shows.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just recycle like the first and second show into the 11th show.
And you mix them up and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You could told even by the time you get to the 7th race show, you could probably cycle a few questions in there.
Yeah. So it's probably not super hard to do, but
But it's still.
yeah,
But
I
getting
mean, as a
100 people-
host,
Oh yeah.
dude, game show hosts make a killing, and they don't have to work. Like,
I think there's some level of working. Like I still think there's some level of like. Yes, we see only work an hour or whatever. Like, but you have to be
Yeah.
like, like something like Howie Mandel and like do. I know he used to. He's like it's not super at work, but it's like he has to be on. Like he can't. Like you can't have an off moment for this to work.
yeah,
It's because it's not even like when you have like Alex Trebek or Pat Sajak where they've done this for so long. I guarantee they're on auto drive
yeah. Well, and you
Nope.
can see that sometimes with like Trebek. Like,
because he's done this for years. He's like, I don't even think about what I'm doing
he'll just ask them a question
and stare.
and just stare, so like he's waiting for them to finish. Which the funniest thing about any game show really is the people that get on those
Mm-hmm.
generally aren't I hate to say it, they aren't that great in front of a camera.
But it's again either you have the really nervous person or you have like the scientist who isn't used to it. Like that's the issue in that.
Yeah, like there's very few people that are camera trained and also very intelligent. I hate to
Hmm.
say it.
And that's true because inherently, I'm gonna argue they don't always overlap.
Yeah,
They can, but they don't.
like it's honestly like being camera ready
Hmm.
and like comfortable in front of a camera is something that you're either born with or it
Hmm.
takes years of experience.
Hmm.
It's not just like, oh yeah, you can be in front of a camera like 3 times and then you're good. No, it's you're either born with it, which I would say like my family kind of is. My mom not really, but my dad and I especially are.
Hmm.
We're super comfortable in front of a camera.
Or
But
you have
people that aren't, it can be
them they aren't.
difficult, like
Yeah.
because you don't know how to handle like where do I look?
Hmm.
Do I look at the camera? Do I look at the host? Do I look at the board? What do I look at? Like they think too much, right? Like they wig themselves out. Whereas if you're just good in front of a camera, if it's either natural or if they've trained you,
Hmm.
just like, okay, we're just having a conversation. The camera's not there. That's the hardest part for people. The camera's not there. Unless it's
Hmm.
like a heart to heart is what they're called, where you're like talking to the camera because you're trying to talk to somebody. Like obviously that you want to look through the camera.
Hmm.
You don't want to look at the front of the lens. You want to look into the back of the lens because it focuses your eyes a little bit different. Um, and that's actually a really hard thing to do. Um, but yeah, let's get on to our Star Trek discussion.
Okay. You ready?
Well, also hold on.
Oh,
We both played and finished the Spider-Man DLC. Yes.
that is true. If you want to talk about that. So spoilers for Spider-Man DLC. I think we'll both say. So spoiler warning. We're about to spoil the fruit in the kitchen. The fruit in the kitchen is now spoiled. Thank you. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we finished all three, right? And we finished all the
Yeah,
side
I
story stuff.
finished the
Okay.
Sable. That one was actually pretty easy.
See, and I don't disagree with you, but I think the Sable got stupid hard at points.
I didn't have any issues with it.
I think Sable to me got hard when you had stuff like 3 Gatling gun guys, and I'm like, okay, guys, we don't need more than one of these ever.
Well, that's when, honestly, when those guys happen, it's great to have the guys with jetpacks flying around
So you
because you
could
just
get.
web up to them, it spins them around, and then they get shot.
So what I do is I use the shock taser because it would tase everyone,
Yeah.
and then I could just start hitting the big guy.
Yeah, and once you figure out that it's a 3-hit combo twice
Hmm.
to
And if they're
knock them
shocked,
out.
you could do almost all of the damage in a
Yeah.
shock equivalent. You have to dodge once, I think, and get an extra hit, but that's it.
Yeah, so it's not super hard. It's just
Uh,
you have to be considerate of that because
Which
otherwise there's really no way to dodge the Gatling gun guys.
So looking back then, what do you think of the story? Because I think it has cool moments. Like I don't know if it stand out, but I think there's legitimately cool moments in that story and the way it goes places.
I'm okay. I'll say this. I'm glad they brought back Black Widow or Black Cat. Sorry.
I'm 100% glad too. I'm also curious now. Did you set up Yuri as some sort of B villain in the sequel, like a vigilante villain?
Maybe.
Because okay, you totally like that. You set her up at that point as the bad cop who wants to do good, but like she now should do it the way Spider-Man doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And
I
also,
I wonder though. Like, so she's obviously broken.
right. She's broken Yuri, as we'll call her. Woken, I'm sorry, in other regions.
Um. So you wonder if that's the case, if she's gonna be this dark cop, is that gonna be the Black Cat missions from the main game?
To me, it's not Black Cat. To me, and this is a bad example, it's only I got, is it's more of a Batman type character than a Black Cat.
Well, no, like
Because the
what
intentions,
I
I think,
mean
are
by
good.
that is like the way those side missions were.
See, because
You
that
know
one
what I
was
mean?
just
Like,
it was just find and seek.
yeah, so maybe those weren't like the Taskmaster
I was
challenges,
thinking
maybe.
more taskmaster, if I'm being honest. Like I think the challenge is less. They set up a challenge more. The challenge is in your way. But yeah, I think more taskmaster. You might catch up to a point, but and
But I
then it
mean,
has a
like
payoff.
the the crime scenes in Silver Lining.
I like those crime scenes. I think that was cool. The thing that pissed me off though is when Spider-Man didn't realize that was like, because Spider-Man was like, "Huh, this person seems important." You fucking idiot.
Yeah, but like maybe they just do it that way. Which and that way it was the Black Cat stuff. Like it
And
was
then
just finding a
yeah.
audio recording.
What else can I say? That's cool. I liked the whole Miles thread. The entire like it totally pays off Miles becoming Spider-Man at the end. Like that was a cool payoff.
I was really hoping that
He
it
had a
was going to
suit.
cut credits and you were going to play as Miles.
I, it was that, or I was hoping there was gonna be a battle where Miles appears, like in a shitty suit, like
That
in
would have
one of
been
those two.
perfect. I wonder though if obviously they knew about Into the Spider-Verse.
And obviously they could have found out anything they had to if they had to write something.
Yeah. But I wonder, okay, Silver Lining was getting worked on like as the
Hmm.
game was finishing up.
Right. I wonder if it was too early to know. What could have got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they obviously wouldn't have known the reaction.
And that's true too. It was a bet. That's an interesting thing. Or to me, it was. I think it was very purposeful in a lot of ways. Of you put very, you just had the Miles payoff at the end and him talking because like it gets you amped of like because let's be honest, all of us wanted to see Miles in some way at that point. You're like, it's just the question of what do they do, and I think at this point, to me, Spider-Man 2, you Miles should be the character you're playing as without a doubt in my mind. Because how else, otherwise, Spider-Man's too powerful. This way, he could be weaker and he could have newer powers and it'd be fun to play as.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're going to have to do something, right? They're going to have to do the Metroid of
Right, and I think
you had
Spider-Man.
all these powers and now what do you do?
So I think Miles is the perfect answer because then it makes sense. Why is he getting some powers the first time, and then also he has different powers, which makes it so it wouldn't be the stagnant part of the gameplay, which would be be the first concern is it's Batman to Batman feels the same in a lot of ways. Where this one you could be like, oh no, this is why he has different things because it makes sense. We're not making something up. It's like no, this is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope they do that. I hope you play at least a side story with Miles.
And again, if you told me you still play as Peter as majority of the game, I don't know if I'd be disappointed. But like, I think you need to play as Miles in combat at points in that game. Like, without a doubt in my head, you need to.
Yeah, because I mean,
Cool powers.
he's got some really cool powers. Like he can
Right.
turn invisible and
So you can make not shitty stealth.
yeah.
Or even like the freaking static shock you could do. Like, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's funny. I think of his invisibility and I think of believe it or not, I'm actually playing through Mass Effect Andromeda
Huh, I'm sorry.
because I got
And
the
to be fair, post patches, you actually might be an okay game.
I've got Origin Premiere.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like $100 and something dollars, and I
What?
get all of the games on PC. It's
You
like
get
right now I've got Anthem in my library.
Did you get Mass Effects 1 through 3?
1 through 3 Andromeda. I get Battlefield 3 to 5,
No.
which that's how I got Battlefield 5 was through that. And you get the premium edition.
So why aren't you playing Mass Effect 1 through 3?
I already did
That's not the question I asked.
because I already played through them.
They're great games. I still stick with I love the Mass Effect trilogy. There's something that's hard to replicate about.
And honestly, MEA is which okay. So the story of
Never
Mass
called
Effect is
please,
cool.
please never call it that ever again.
What MEA?
Yes, never again.
That's how it's listed in my mod folder. So
I don't care.
Andromeda. I
Yeah,
called Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 ME 1, 2, and 3, so
Mhm.
it's MEA to me.
Mm.
Which, and I'm playing with all kinds of mods. I've got like, my inventory space is 99,999. It's like I never have to worry about inventory. All the materials are free. Um, Research is super cheap. Like, obviously, stuff that just breaks the game,
Mhm.
but it's more fun to me. Like, the way I played 1, 2, and 3 was I did, like, what were the mods that I had? I had a couple mods, nothing super serious, but I just blasted through them. Like, obviously, I played some of the storylines for the story, but the main story I just kind of blasted through.
So, so I know mod's gonna change your opinions and stuff, but like going through what you've gone through,
Yep.
do you think post whatever it's been now, it's an okay game? Now that
Andromeda?
they fixed most of the fundamental non-story issues with the game. Like I remember it played fine, and that wasn't the issue. Like
Yeah.
physically, I think it played fine.
You want to know how I'm experienced in Mass Effect Andromeda story?
Oh no, go
Mashing the X button.
on. Also, you know
Like,
what's upset? It's
because
so upsetting because
honestly,
like the game
the
ends on a
mod that
cliff.
I've got that I want to see is the Romance for All.
Does that make romance everyone?
Yeah, and you can romance multiple people. And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
playing a femme rider. I was just say femme ship, but
I know you're gonna. I heard it.
um, and so I'm just going around like playing like the tough girl, but also like
Mm-hmm.
I have the specific ones that obviously I want the path to go down. And it's funny because if you start to, I believe her name's Cora.
Yeah.
When you do the romance options for her, like there's no voice line because obviously the female voice actor didn't record that voice line,
Right.
so it's pretty funny.
It's pretty
But the
funny.
only reason I'm doing that is because I want to break the system.
Interesting.
So yeah, like I've
You
completely broken Mass Effect Andromeda at this point.
you know what's interesting? So the mod I've downloaded, I have not gotten a chance to actually play it yet, but it's installed. I actually installed a. You'd be proud of me. I installed Vortex, the Nexus mod installer.
I don't
Uh,
like their installer, so
it's because the mod I was using, you basically have to go through it. I installed Fallout New California.
oh dude, I so want to play that.
I thought you didn't like Fallout, Mister. I hate Fallout.
Well, no, New Vegas is the only one I haven't touched,
New Vegas
and
is my favorite Fallout, and that's one I will swear by always. If someone goes, "I want to play Fallout," I go play New Vegas.
I've seen the progression of New California over five
Yeah,
years,
it's
and so I
installed.
really want to check it out now that it's
It's installed.
officially
I think
out.
I have time this weekend to like poke at it, but like I'm super intrigued because it's a standalone campaign. Like they go, no, when you hit
Yeah,
new game, now there's a button on mine that says play New California. Like it's straight like a separate thing.
yeah, that's one I definitely want to check out.
Cause I'm just, and I saw like the trailer and stuff too, and I'm like, how the hell? They're like, there's like, my joke was there's more voice actors in this game than actually in Fallout. Cause
I
they
think
do,
somebody proved that.
yeah, cause that makes sense. Cause the Bethesda joke is they hire 10 actors that just say different stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I will hopefully have more about that next time. But yeah, I have it installed, and I'm gonna poke around in that, see what it's, see. Because I was, to me, I'm like more Fallout. I could live with that.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Well, should we talk about the big news story and then get into Star Trek?
Sure.
Or
What? Why not? We do this show twice a month. Why not? Okay. So the big news story.
well, and I feel like this big news story is something we need to talk about now.
That's true.
Some of the other ones can wait until the next episode because they're developing stories.
That's valid. This one is developed. To be fair, this one is developing, and with this one we'll talk about in a second. Totally has like some stuff in it where we don't fully know because it's lawsuits and we have no proof. I'm gonna
Right.
clarify that, and then you get into what this is. Go on.
So apparently, well, no, not apparently.
The apparently is how bad it is.
Yes.
The beginning part is 100%. The
This,
level
which
is one
literally
shot.
you cannot make this shit up. Randy Pitchford apparently carries. Well, no. Okay.
Carried. I don't think he carries it like in his back pocket. I think he had it with him.
Randy Pitchford, at one time,
CEO and
CEO of
owner of
Gearbox,
Gearbox Software.
and we don't know how long this was going on. But at one point, for some period of time, we don't know how long, apparently it was more than once, so it was a span, carried around a flash drive, we'll call it.
I think it literally was a flash drive.
Or, well, flash drive, thumb drive.
Okay, that's the
Or,
same
or like
thing.
an external hard drive, like whatever it was.
Okay.
With pornography on it. Along with studio
Secrets.
files, right? Like
My
art files
understanding,
and stuff like that.
it was like contracts and that kind of stuff. So basically, it was like Sony and Microsoft contract because obviously Gearbox probably does a lot internal like deals with people because they're also a
Okay.
publisher. So
Yeah.
like, I assume he has a ton of random shit.
Yeah. But also apparently a porn folder.
Not just a porn folder. So this is coming from
Well,
Randy Pitchford's lawyer who is suing him. You want to know what? You want to go into more details of what the accusation is?
well, no, I was just gonna say, and apparently people had seen the folder.
Mm-hmm. So the accusation is it is a child porn folder.
Yeah, that's
Which the part that gets me is because Randy Pitchford even did a podcast admitting he had the porn folder. The part that
right.
gets me is the child porn. Like that's the question of, and I think that changes everything. One of them is a bad boo boo. The other is holy shit.
Yeah, the one of this situation A, we'll call it, is adult
Situation
porn.
A is you shouldn't have done this, lost this shit, but nothing is illegal or really you can sit there
Right.
and be like, you can't like. There's a less of a judginess to it. I think is the best way
He's
to put
he's
it.
a creep
But
for carrying around porn with contracts. Like
right,
that's just
but
weird.
it's weird. But it's not like anyone could sit there and like some of that part you go, yeah, he's just weird. Like that'd be the end of that. I would argue in a lot of ways.
And as long as he was showing the person that saw it, like he asked them and they said sure, like it was consensual, there's nothing wrong.
Right. The part that would be a problem is if the child part is true.
Right. Situation C is child. And I guess there's also like subsections of this of he showed a person that didn't want to see.
Right, which we're gonna assume since that was never accused, we're just not gonna assume that. That's why I'm
Right.
not bringing that kind of idea up because I'm gonna base it on what the accusation is.
Yeah. The accusation is that he
'Cause I
took a
never would wanna
$12
make this up.
million bonus, right?
Which so the part everyone's freaking out with this. So you know the part that and this you know me, usually I'm relatively like the whatever person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the part that makes it shitty if this is true is I don't know if you know this because I've looked up working there before. So part of Gearbox's shtick as a studio, which is why people want to work there, um, is every single employee gets a certain percentage of profits they make of any game they work on.
Yeah.
So if he took a $12 million bonus out of on the back end of Borderlands, he literally took it out of his workers' pockets when that game comes out.
Yeah.
And that's the part where it gets shitty. If it was just like Activision doing, it, you're like, fuck, like it doesn't affect you. Well, this is one that like directly it would affect the people who work on that game.
Yeah. So obviously that's pretty shitty. Like that alone is shitty. It's maybe
Right.
not lawsuit worthy.
That probably wouldn't have been logged. That'd probably just been like, oh, that was a shitty thing, and you'd move on with your life, for example.
That may have been like a small claims or something like that. Like
I don't know if
the
that's illegal,
the
though.
employees would have had to have
But there might still be
gone after.
some. He's probably still allowed to do it. It's shitty, but he's allowed to. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah. So
also,
the only
if
person
you're
that could have
2K, you're not going to do a contract that you think is gonna like you, especially if you know Gearbox does this. You're not going to
Yeah.
do that if you knew it'd ruin your record, for example.
right. Like the only way that situation would be cleared up is if the employees went after Pitchford.
Which I don't know. I still don't think they could personally, but I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think that is.
Yeah. And you know, the obviously this is all tied up in a lawsuit, so there's no clear indication of okay, this 12 million came from what? Did you just skim it off the top before anybody else saw it? Did the
Right.
company skim it off the top?
No, my understanding is 2K paid it to a. I forgot the term. Basically, it was like Randy Pitchford Magic LLC or something insane.
So okay, so
But
it was an off the books bonus.
but it was 100% out of Borderlands'
Yeah.
money. Like that was
Well,
very
no,
clear.
that would have been out of 2K's Borderlands money.
Right, but it was out, which is totally coming out of Gearbox's Borderlands money at the end of the day.
Eh, it depends.
If you're doing it to the CEO of the person making Borderlands, it is coming out of the money you'd give Borderlands in some capacity.
Maybe. Because here's how I can see it not being part of the Borderlands money. Because, okay, 2K takes, we'll call it 15%. It's probably way low.
My assumption is Gearbox takes 15%, but okay.
Right. But
to be honest,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So they take their cut.
Mm-hmm.
The only way this isn't shitty is if that 12 million came from their cut that they were taking no matter what.
Which I really doubt, if I'm being honest. Like, I'd legitimately be in shock.
And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but that's the only way it doesn't get weird. Is if it's just like 2K paid from their coffers this $12 million.
Valid.
Which obviously $12 million to 2K is nothing because they'll just fire up the servers for NBA 2K.
But my assumption that could still be 10% of Borderlands' budget, though. Like, I
Right.
feel like, as much as it's nothing, if we start multiplying those numbers, I bet you Borderlands is a $100 million game.
If that.
I bet you it's around. If we're being honest, how long it's been. Like, there's a bunch of so many factors. I'm like, it probably will add. Because Borderlands 2 sold so many units, they're probably willing to take a bigger risk on it.
Yeah. But I mean, even like the reports were that GTA 5's budget was quarter billion dollars.
Right.
$250 million. And that
Right,
included advertising.
Right.
Which if you figure advertising is half.
But, games, it's weird. Because games, this is why I think games are weird. In comparison to film. Because film, you don't have the same way of, like, influencers. With games, like, what does an influencer cost you, for example, versus the advertising you get for it?
But think about, right,
If
think
I make
about,
Ninja
okay,
play
so,
GTA, what does it do in comparison to making Ninja watch a film?
but think about this, right, like, so the advertising, let's take $100 because it's easy.
The easy math. I like easy math.
Easy math. Okay, so $100 of advertising for a movie. We'll say, I don't know, how aggressive do you want to go? Like
What do you think?
moderate, like a normal, or
Go normal.
like an early push, like a normal push, or like an aggressive push?
Go normal.
Okay, so like a normal push would be, we'll call it, like 60, 20, 20.
Okay.
In terms of like $60 is going to go to commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's for every platform, right? So that's going to be your domestic trailers, international trailers, trailers tied on to sports games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're big enough to do that. 20% of that is, believe it or not, print. So that's going to be magazines, newspapers, billboards, stuff like that. And then that other 20% can be whatever you want. Like it could be advertising through getting people out to see premieres, paying stars to go on talk shows, things like that. So I would say that's a fairly realistic number that you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, and obviously that would be $100 for every $100 spent making the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still fairly aggressive, and still a lot to get out. But with the games, like it's just spread over a longer time.
I'm still gonna stick with, and maybe we just disagree on this. I think Borderlands 3, or whatever we call it, is gonna be one of the more expensive games of whatever year comes out. Because it's not going to come out the Red Dead or GTA. So it's probably going to fight a Call of Duty on a budget point of view.
Unless it comes out the year that Death Stranding comes out, I agree with you.
Because it's just the nature of, and I know you're not the hugest fan in the same way, and like where I am more of a fan of it is, I think even you'd agree that like Borderlands 2 was a bigger impact than anyone expected it to be.
Yeah.
It's down in one of the top 20 selling games of all time. Like no one expected it to do that.
Yeah, no.
And if you look at 2K, you're like they're like we don't expect it to make GTA money, but we expect it to make money.
They probably didn't even expect it to make NBA 2K money, honestly.
And it, right, but like at this point also we're talking what does 2K do, right? They do sports, they do Civ, and they do Borderlands.
Well, yeah, 2K, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say Rockstar, but yeah, 2K does like Civ.
Yeah, not
They do
Take-Two,
XCOM once in a while.
2K, yeah.
They do weird stuff like XCOM or Mafia, but like at the end of the day, it's like they do Civ and they do Borderlands, and they used to do Bioshock, and there was Bioshock, but like that's what they do.
And then, yeah, your NBAs, your
WWEs.
WWEs. What else do they make? They make a couple different ones.
Are they the MMA game or is that are they UFC
That's
or no?
EA.
That's EA. Okay.
EA does UFC. What else did they do? I could have sworn they had another one.
They. No.
They had an MLB,
Right.
which they don't do anymore.
I think that's it.
They had an
Pez
NFL, but they
is
don't do that anymore.
Konami.
Yeah. For now.
But yeah. My assumption is that when Pez license comes up, FIFA just buys up that license.
Well, there's really nothing in Pez.
There's like a couple. I'm saying whatever remaining stuff they have in it.
Well, whatever license they would have, I think FIFA already has it.
I thought they had like a few like weird things that they did. I
No.
don't think it's many. I think it's
No,
like,
it was I think they had the World Cup license.
Oh, and they bought it. Didn't FIFA get it like last year or something?
Yeah, and that's why for the most recent World Cup, there was a World Cup mode because, yeah, EA came in and bought it.
EA probably was like, how many zeros do I gotta add? 1, 2, just tell me when to stop. Like, that's probably what they did.
Well, they probably just went to the World Cup and said, hey, look, FIFA sells like gangbusters.
Mm-hmm. We'll give you a point, or whatever.
Pez sucks ass, like in terms of sales.
Yeah.
Apparently it plays pretty good.
I've heard like I've heard people argue it plays better than FIFA.
Well, and it's on the Fox engine.
Right, and that's I wouldn't be that surprised. But again, but FIFA's on Frostbite, so it's a fun fight.
Yeah, they're both on engines that aren't sports engines.
But they're both on insanely good engines and flexible engines.
Fox more so than Frostbite. Like
that's valid.
Like
but
if you look at Frostbite, well, okay, Frostbite 1 especially.
I think Frostbite now, my assumption is, and I've heard stuff where they've kind of retooled it to kind of be more flexible.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on like 3 or 4 now at this point.
I've heard like basically in 3, like the most recent came out, they kind of built it on purpose to like have a bigger beta and for more than first person shooters.
Well, and you have to imagine with like the way that EA was going, obviously they wanted to keep a lot of costs down, so that an easy way to do that is have one engine and then
Just adjust it.
build everything on that engine.
Which it's still expensive, but yeah, it is cheaper for sure.
Well, it's cheaper than maintaining.
3 engines.
Well, they had Frostbite.
And also, you know, the other thing that makes it better too is your engineers are now more flexible on what they could work on.
Yeah.
You could have less engineers. This probably for sure makes it cheaper because everyone knows the engine.
Yeah, you had Frostbite, you had Ignite, you had... Well, you had the Mass Effect one.
Yeah. Was that a Frostbite?
Which Andromeda ended up on Frostbite.
Oh, okay, that's what's on Frostbite. Okay, that makes sense. Wasn't it on, like, Havoc and stuff? Like, it was
Yeah.
weird shit. Remember when Havoc used to be a thing? That was, like, in every game?
Isn't that owned by Amazon now?
Yeah, I think it's an AW. I think it's built into Lumberyard now.
Which you want to talk about an interesting story.
So I've opened up Lumberyard the other week. So, okay, I work in Unity and Unreal. Tangent. And those things to download and then open up my computer take me from if I from scratch would take an hour. Okay, just from like
Hmm.
going to the website, hit download, do all the nonsense. Lumberyard took 10
10 hours.
to download and install.
How much bigger of it? How much bigger of an install was it than?
Not a ton. It just has so much. Because what it is, the issue with Lumberyard is when I get to the first step is I have to separately install audio tools and rendering
Oh,
tools,
yeah,
and they just give you a list of everything. They give you hot links, but
yeah,
you still have to like Unity and Unreal in the back end. Just put it in one nice wrapper and say have fun. Lumberyard, I have to manually do everything,
well, but it makes them more flexible.
and then I open up Lumberyard and I was like, nope, this. So someone described to me in the nicest way possible was Lumberyard looks like Unity from 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And the issue is the reason they want you to use it so bad is because AWS is built into it, and Twitch is built into it.
yeah, I have a feeling they're gonna get a lot of people just from that.
You know what also game is being built in Lumberyard?
Well, I know Star System.
Yeah, it's Star Citizen. They own the team that made that remade Killer Instinct, but they're not making Killer Instinct obviously. I don't know what they're doing, but they own that team too. They own a couple
Iron
teams.
Galaxy?
No. The Iron Galaxy made season 2 onward. The season 1 team,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's why Iron
Which weren't
Galaxy
they
is
like
making.
weren't they like KI Studios or something like that?
Yeah, but like it was a different. But yeah, they're formed to do it. And I thought Amazon bought them from Microsoft.
Yeah, I have a feeling Amazon right now can do whatever they want. Like,
But I'm assuming also Amazon's in this for the long game. Like they don't care if a game comes out tomorrow. They're just like, go make this engine work. It's the epic thing of why did you make Gears of War to prove your engine worked?
yeah. Well, I okay. So just think this through with me.
Okay.
Remember when Microsoft was first pitching the Xbox One?
As the always online thing, yeah.
No. Well, no, with Crackdown 3
Okay.
of the we're gonna have a cloud
Yeah,
render farm.
their cloud systems. I like Microsoft's cloud system the best of the ones I've used. If I'm being honest.
What if AWS and Lumberyard make that a reality?
Which is Microsoft can do it. Like Azure has the capabilities of doing that type of shit.
They do.
A-
They just don't
do it, yeah.
put it into their games.
AWS is interesting though because I think it's the cheapest one also. And obviously you're not paying for it, but in general, like it's from a developer view, it's like the cheapest one, and it's very interesting, like how AWS is very, very, very dynamic. I like all of them are dynamic, but AWS is very much like a we could go down to like a very microscopic dynamic nature of like, oh, just this second you need more? Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it ends up being like a great engine because they can do this cloud render and
Again, just put it in Unity Unreal, have a good day. Thank you.
it, and potentially,
I think
if
the issue is, especially from like coming from school or whatever too, is you can only teach developers so many engines unless you work there
right.
full time.
Yeah.
It's number 3 for sure.
Oh yeah,
It's
currently
it's
definitely.
hard enough to get people to learn Unity and Unreal. Like I don't see people dropping one of those for Lumberyard. Is the problem to like getting more people to learn it unless you're hiring people specifically to learn it. So getting people to learn your tools to then hire them is the problem.
Yeah. What if okay, so Lumberyard gets the we'll call it the render farm.
Okay.
They implement that and it works and everything. And so you can run games. You can render games in the cloud.
But here's the question though: what studio would love that tech that doesn't already have a tech very similar on their end though? Who would use it?
Battlefield, honestly.
But you don't think EA has a cloud? I guess EA probably is buying a cloud system from someone. But if you're EA, it turns into a probably bidding war between Microsoft and Amazon of who's a better deal. If I'm being honest.
But the thing of it is, like, so for them, right?
Hmm.
Frostbite renders everything locally.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. All the physics are for sure locally.
Yeah. So if they can offload that, like, Battlefield is honestly like the new Crisis in terms of testing a system.
That's true. Which
Like
is funny.
you
It
crank
also plays
Battlefield
better.
up and just let it run. Like my system's pretty beefy, and if I run it on my one monitor at 1440, I struggle to hit a solid 60.
It's just funny because technically, I've heard stories like Crisis 3 is still a decent benchmark. I've always heard jokes about,
Oh
like
yeah,
to
it
this
still
day.
is, but
Not great, but it's a decent benchmark.
yeah, it's definitely still a good benchmark. But if you want a stress test,
Mm-hmm.
Battlefield is the way to go. And so if they can unload some of that work to the cloud, since it's already an online game,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you could play it on phones.
See, and that is truly where you want to start this fight is if you have someone like Amazon, how quick can you make? So the other issue with phones is can you do this technology with minimizing the amount of data usage you're putting on people's phone plans?
Yeah, that's gonna be
And
tough.
that's the trick is how. So a lot of it's internet is formed on packets. I assume you have a base understanding of that.
I mean, yes,
I,
I
I,
have.
I
I think I have more than a basic understanding, but yeah, everybody should understand that internet
like,
comes in packets. It's not a solid.
right. It basically shoots shit back and forth.
Yeah,
So a lot of times when you do that kind of stuff, you make basically an object called like a JSON object, which is just basically you could put anything in this wrapper and it could shoot out places. Is how you get
yeah,
like emails. And the question is, can they do something with their engine to make this super small thing even smaller? And the other issue with stuff like, say, physics on networking is this is the other thing which is confused me with death is 1,000 packets may get shot at you from my computer to your computer. You might only get 980 of them.
right.
But in an email, you never notice. But if I'm worrying about physics in a live game, you would notice.
Yeah,
And that's where it gets weird of like, what is the line of like gray area where it works okay? And that's why I assume Crackdown 3 has cut down on that cloud nonsense talking, because I bet you that was their concern of testing the sucker was they were losing too many of these packets in some way.
yeah, that would be interesting. Like, you may have to double up packets.
Right, and at that point, then you're losing. What if you're losing all of your efficiency?
Yeah,
And that's the issue, I think.
yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you.
Well, we should probably head back to the road we were going down. I'll say 20 minutes ago.
That's true. I'm gonna say though, we need to take a 2-minute detour break at the local Oasis.
All right.
We'll be right back.
All right, everyone. Mike's back from his pee.
Okay. So, cue the loud music. Put a giant lens flare in front of you and see an explosion. This is 2009 Star Trek. Is that accurate?
Well, it's not as explosiony as a Michael Bay movie, that's for sure.
I forget how much that JJ loves lens flares. I legitimately, and then I saw this movie.
Oh,
I was
is that why you texted me and said I forgot about this movie?
yeah. Because legitimately, I'm like, oh, every scene there was legit a lens flare for some reason.
Yeah. Some of them make sense, a lot of them don't.
Yeah. I'm like, did no editor go, no, JJ, we can't do that?
I think a lot of them are in camera.
God almighty. Okay, so 2009 Star Trek. I'm gonna say, I think visually, it holds up really, really well, which is
Yeah.
surprising for how effects heavy it is. Those are the things that usually age horribly. Um. Also, you could totally tell this is the man that directed Star. Like you can see whether they got the you should direct Star Wars from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Otherwise, it has good moments and it has some great moments, but there's also like some very weak stuff in this film.
The sabotage scene with the drop top Corvette is still probably
Amazing.
in my top 10 favorite scenes of all time.
I also appreciate how they love sabotage so much The entire third film, that's the only song they play continually.
It's a good song, man.
But okay, the third movie it made a lot more sense than in this movie. No, that is a good scene. That the opening like Earth stuff I think is really strong.
I mean, it made sense still in this. Like,
Oh, it
yes,
did.
it makes way more sense in the third, but
I think that's a really strong scene, and I think that whole bar thing is really strong also.
yeah, the bar fight.
Yeah. That those are both really strong. The
You want to
film
talk about things I forgot? It's the opening, like the immediate opening.
is the immediate opening correct? If that's just the ship, right, with his dad dying.
Yeah, his Chris
That's
Hemsworth dying.
see, that's the part that like stuck in this movie forever. I remember that scene perfect. It was that scene in the ending I remember perfectly for some reason, where Spock meets Spock.
Right, yeah, that's the ending.
So you know what's interesting? The first time I saw that movie, I thought that Spock, like older Spock, replaced with Spock's dad at some point, and he just like Spock's dad was dead. I didn't realize they were separate people.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. They mentioned that I think right away.
Yeah,
Like it's an offhand comment, but
it very much. But I thought like as in like I thought like there was a certain point in the movie where they just flipped places. Like I thought like something like weird happened.
no.
Um, but yeah, no, that opening is strong. The you know what the weak part of this film is though.
Eric Bana.
What'd you say?
Eric Bana.
Is that the Avenge Boy? The avenging time traveler?
The villain.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad we
Yeah.
both have the same idea of the villain's motives. I don't know. It makes some sense, but like
I'm pissed
yeah.
off. Your dad killed my family, so I'm gonna travel back in time.
But no, he didn't travel back in time. He just chased Spock, and he happened to go in time.
Yeah, whatever he
Technically,
does.
technically, he didn't go in time on purpose. He just got sucked in the hole.
Right.
And at that point, once you're back in time, I understood the logic of waiting for Spock at that point. Because at that point, you're already like, fuck it, I'm gonna die anyway. I didn't understand the exploring of the universe. I understood the waiting for Spock part. Because what do you do with your
Yeah.
time?
The um that scene where they fight on the drill, the laser,
Yeah.
is still visually stunning. Like that thing.
Oh, yeah. Fucking when I drop. Also, I do appreciate the whole, like, the guy's rich shit. I was like, shit, he's gonna die, isn't he? Because it's true.
Yeah.
And then another question I have. Those fucking ticks that just release ooze in your brain, apparently? What the fuck's up with that shit?
You know, there's some questions that you have,
Yeah.
you just don't ask.
Because in my head, I'm like, if someone had that type of capability, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just abduct everyone with any secret ever?
Yeah. Yeah, you would be like the most valuable person in the universe.
Because you could just be like, tell me anything. And they
Yeah.
have to. Also, another question. How does that thing not kill him?
I have
I
to
assume-
imagine it's like some weird, again, question you ask, but you don't want to ask. Or a question you have, but you don't ask. I have to imagine like the story reason he doesn't die is because it's like it just attaches on. It doesn't actually eat into.
But, like, you understand the weird part of that one. Like, from a logistics point of view, I'm just like, how does that work?
Yeah. Again, it's
I know.
I saw this question posted, and it actually was like, okay, yeah, I know there's a lot of plot points in the MCU
Mm-hmm.
that are giant holes.
Oh, yeah. And most people would agree with you on that one.
Thanos' snap.
Yeah.
So in the comics, which I never read I think I have the Infinity War, but I had never read it.
Give me a second, I'll pull it up. Infinity Gauntlet is what you mean, actually. Infinity War is the sequel. Infinity Gauntlet is what Infinity War is based off of.
But the snap kills all sentient life. So that makes sense. Or half,
Half, yeah.
You know what I mean? It only kills sentient life.
Okay.
In the movie, it's just phrased as half of all life. Now,
Well-
if when he snaps, that kills half of not only humans, but fish, cows, plants, pets. He's back at square one.
But here's the question, though.
Like, he did jack shit. You know what I mean?
But I think that was his point, was it was just over time. But also part of
Was
it
it,
is,
though?
but also part of it is we have never seen the outcome of like, yeah, because this whole thing was everything's overpopulated, so you just cut everything in half. Was his argument?
But, okay, so it was in Wakanda, which is a heavily forested area.
Okay.
So you would have seen half the trees disappear.
What do you define as life, though? And here's the again, it's the question of what do they define as life?
Well, okay, so I'm not going to be able to find it, but I saw a Reddit thread about this, and this is actually why I started thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the CEO Kevin Feige said in an interview, like, it was, not just humans, but also animals.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything about plants, but he said, all life.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't say anything about plants. So that makes you think, okay, there goes half of the meat supply, right? So
Oh no, but his whole issue is overpopulation in the sense of what it does to a world. Like in Titan, for example. If you look at like what it did, it was global warming and over that kind of stuff. If you look at how Titan's resources were used.
but do you see, like, his thing is he cuts that down, but then he's also cutting half of the potential resources with no plan on how
Mm-hmm.
they were gonna rebuild.
My
So yeah,
assumption
there's
is
there's a ton of plot.
my
holes in
assumption
this.
was it was more sentient things. I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, there's many reasons why I don't like the MCU. They're super generic movies.
Depends on the movie.
They're super generic movies. Like, when it comes down to it, they're super generic.
But they also
And they've
made
got
the
these
form of-
giant plot holes.
Back to Star Trek then.
Yes, back to Star Trek.
Star Trek though, as character wise though, Chris Pine is really good, obviously.
Chris
I
Pine's
forgot how
always
much-
good.
Yeah, I forgot how much I liked him. I forgot how much I fucking like Simon Pegg.
You know what I forgot he was in? Ready Player One.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see Ready Player One?
It does not. That looks so boring to me.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Because
It's pretty
like,
boring. It's on HBO, so I watched it again.
some people it's great. I'm like this. The only reason people like this movie is because video game characters in it. Minus video game characters, this movie would not be highly rated.
Yeah.
I
And it's
1000% I'm convinced on that.
like, it plays up everything.
Character.
Because
why wouldn't you?
And it's one of the reasons that I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a very good movie, but yeah, Simon Pegg's in that. He's in a lot of stuff, dude. He's a very good actor.
Also, what's her face? I like a lot.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah. Guardian Girl.
Yep. Keith Urban.
Keith Urban is just a good actor. He should be in more things.
Keith Urban is the Chris Pine. Like, Keith Urban and Chris Pine are the guys that you want to see in every movie possible.
Together.
Yeah, like every buddy movie, Chris Pine and Keith Urban are gonna nail it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, name me a buddy movie that they wouldn't be good in.
You know what they'd be great as? Like, they would be legitimately great as a buddy cop.
I was thinking the other guys.
Oh my god.
Like, if they were the Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg,
Mm-hmm.
that movie would be probably a lot better.
Also, do you know the thing I really liked Carl Urban in though? That like was only lasted one season? There was a show on Fox in 2013 called Almost Human.
I remember hearing things about it. I don't think I ever saw it.
It's produced by Bad Robot, so J.J. Abrams,
Yeah.
producer on it. It's all about basically Carl Urban gets this robot sidekick, and the whole point is this is the first robot that's like has emotions and stuff too, and all that. It's all about like it's a buddy cop TV show,
Oh, yeah.
and trust me, he's fucking A1 in it.
I feel like that would be painful. Fucking A1 sauce.
Would it though? Isn't it be super spicy?
I mean, it would get everywhere.
Hold up, I'm gonna blow your mind. So I'm on his Wikipedia page, right? Carl
All right,
Urban.
I'm on his IMDb page.
So don't look, stop looking. Tell me, in the 2013 video game Star Trek, who Carl Urban played?
Was he Kirk?
No, he's Leonard McCoy. He's this fucking character from this movie, you fucking idiot.
Well, I couldn't remember if he played his character as well or if he played.
No, everyone played the character in that game, I think.
Did they?
Because that was
I couldn't remember
game.
if they did or not.
I was hoping you'd be like something to say something stupid.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if everyone came back and played their own character.
Do you know who developed that game, though?
Oh, there it is.
Who developed the game?
Um. Uh. Was it Bandai?
Digital Extremes.
All right then.
Like the Warframe people. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was published by Namco Bandai.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if
This actually came out after Warframe, which is so weird.
yeah. I couldn't remember if it was those guys or if it was a Bandai team internal.
Also, Zachary Quinto is great at Spock, and just in general, he's good too.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Also, I did like how you had to have obviously Spock basically hand off the mantle in this.
Was he? He wasn't in any of the sequels, was he?
No, I think at that point that was his only thing. 'Cause basically, at that point, he went to go protect the what was left of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 2009 Star Trek. A relatively
Also,
good movie.
Zachary Quinto played Agent 47.
We don't ever need to talk about that.
Okay. Or no, he was John Smith in that. That movie, the two Hitman movies,
It's the better one.
I don't know. I think I liked the what was the was
Seven.
It 09? 07?
7.
I think I liked that one better.
Okay. Okay.
Hitman's such a weird.
It just can't be. I don't know why it has to be a movie. Like Lily Hitman is about Hitman movies. You can't. It's like when you make like people like Uncharted movie. I'm like Uncharted is Indiana Jones. Don't make this a movie.
Yeah.
You have that. You have a ton of those movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Like, obviously, the Hitman franchise is going to be uber popular for years
Mm-hmm.
because it's just ridiculous. Like, and the thing that they're trying, like, in a movie, obviously, you can't do the ridiculous stuff that they do in the game. Like, you can't have Agent 47 dress up as a flamingo and take a battle axe and put it into somebody's skull.
You can.
Well, you could, but that would be a very weird movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, that's an escalation in Hitman 2.
Oh God.
It's hilarious. The whole thing is, once you get into the flamingo, you have to stay in the flamingo.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically trespassing everywhere. And then you have to kill a specific guy with a battle axe. The best part is, though, the way that I got him was I knocked everyone out, and then I went and grabbed the battle axe and got him
Hmm.
and killed him with the battle axe. But the flamingo exit is actually right where I got him.
Hmm.
So that was really funny. Which, if you've never seen the flamingo exit in Hitman 2 Miami, you have to.
Okay.
Like, even if all you do, like, even if you kill the target or targets, depending on, what you do, even if you do that, you do the entire game, and then you go get the flamingo costume and do the flamingo exit, it's hilarious.
Hmm.
It is worth the effort to do. I would say do it in this escalation because it sets you up to put you right there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So yeah, 2009 Star Trek. I would say a decently good movie. I wouldn't tell you it's a great movie. I would argue, here's the argument I'd make though. One of the best old movies we have seen during these months.
I would say it's probably,
One of the best movies we've seen during these months.
yeah.
My personal highlight, I still of new movies at least was my personal highlight. I think is Bad Times.
Oh, Bad Times at the El Royale. That was
Yeah,
pretty good.
it was
I forget, did we watch Logan
no, we
for
did
this?
not, because Logan would be number one, so that's how I know we
Yeah.
didn't.
We
Yeah,
watched Mad Max, which I
yeah.
might put Mad Max still above Star Trek.
See, that to me for sure isn't. We watched fucking White Boy Rick,
Oh,
Widows. We all remember Widows.
that's like 1A and 1B for the bottom.
um,
Actually, no, White Boy Rick was a worse movie than Widows.
that is true. I will 100% agree with you on that one.
Like, if it's just a movie, White Boy Rick was way worse than Widows.
Hmm.
Widows didn't make any sense. It was
We
at
watched-
least a competent movie.
We watched also Blade Runner and The Italian Job.
Okay, so for me, it's Mad Max, Star Trek, Italian Job, Blade Runner.
For me, it is Star Trek, Italian Job, Blade Runner, Mad Max. Mad Max and Blade Runner, I think, are interchangeable for me. But they're my bottom of those
Yeah.
four.
And obviously, the Mad Max was me. I love that movie. So
Yeah, no, you do. To me, I really liked it. The Italian Job, I liked surprising amount.
oh, it's definitely a very good movie.
That's yeah. Italian Job is like a really. It's I think it's the thing. It gets a heist movie right as we talk about is it's a fun movie, and that's what I think a lot of heist movies get wrong.
I think if we do another heist movie,
It has to be Baby Driver.
no,
Oh,
I was gonna say Ocean's 11.
ooh, that's always good too.
That's such a good movie.
So here's the question: why is there if I search my Amazon library, it gives me the option to delete the films out of my library? Why would I delete a film I paid for?
Well, you can delete it out of your library,
But you still own it.
but yeah, you still own it. You can still find it.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you're like, okay, if you insist?
No, I've done that multiple times. I've just deleted stuff out of my library.
I'm looking at my Amazon library. It's becoming a decently good library of films I own.
Yeah, yeah. You just go to the deleted items in your on the video website,
Okay.
and then from there you can permanently delete it.
Yeah, legitimately, of my Amazon library, some of the worst movies on here are ones I have watched for this podcast.
You purchase them?
It depends. So, like, some of them were like, I was on sale. Like, okay, if I'm gonna rent a movie for $3, or if it's on sale for like $5, I'm buying the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain lines of like, it's totally like I'm not renting a movie. Like, if it's a couple bucks different, I'm doing it. Like the Italian Job, I have no regret owning the Italian Job.
Oh yeah, that's
I think Mad Max
That's
was
really
literally on sale for like $5. So like, I'm like, whatever. I'm either spending $3 or $5.
yeah.
And there's other
Oh
movies.
god. Rent or buy recommended movies. White Boy Rick.
But again, I also like my. If it was one time I bought, it was like there was a Christopher Nolan where every Christopher Nolan movie was like $1. So I own like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises because of course I do.
I've got the trilogy um, pack, DVD pack.
I own two Bond movies.
I don't. Okay. I don't physically own any of the Bond movies, which is weird because I love the Bond franchise.
Yeah, that's surprising. Here's pop quiz. What is the best Bond film? There's only one answer.
Well, okay. The question is, who's your favorite Bond?
Daniel Craig.
Okay.
So you know the answer if I say that. What is it?
I'm trying to think of the Skyfall is the one that I'm thinking of.
It's Casino Royale.
That was gonna be my second guess.
I think Skyfall is a good movie. I just don't think it's like this end all be all people act like it is.
Oh no, none of the Bond movies are what people think they are.
But like Casino Royale, I think the thing I really like with Casino Royale is it's really cool because there's like moments where it's not a Bond film. Like it's this. I think that's what makes it cool.
Yeah, Casino Royale is a very fun movie to watch.
That is true. The thing with Skyfall is people like it sets up Bond. Like that's true. Like the end of his origin setup. Because at that point you have the team you recognize.
Yeah, and then the next,
Spectre.
like
yeah.
they set up perfectly because they kill off M.
Yeah.
You know, they kill off Judi Dench. So, or was it? No, that wasn't Judi Dench. That was.
Yeah, it was. No. Yes.
It was.
Judi Dench.
Really?
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of Helen Mirren. That's why I thought it was weird.
But yeah, no, it's Judi Dench. That's why when you said that, I was like, I think you're right. Which is funny because she's one of the. I think she's like the only person to go through multiple Bonds. As the same role.
No.
No.
Blofeld was the same guy.
Okay. There aren't many of them. I know there's a few. That's the whole thing.
There's only a few, yeah.
Especially, but she was like such a there's prominent roles is what makes it interesting too. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's the same side character. No, it's like the same fucking.
It's the exact same character, yeah. Yeah, because she was Brosnan and Craig.
Yeah.
And then who's the M in Spectre?
Also, Spectre, a better movie than people give it credit for.
Yes.
People
definitely.
like Spectre sucks. I'm like, no, Spectre.
Oh, it's Ralph Fiennes. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, Spectre is like a really decently good film.
Yeah. Yeah. Christoph Waltz is very good. You know who else is very good in that movie?
Who?
Dave Bautista.
That is true.
Like, legit, Dave Bautista is... I was going to say maybe, is the best former wrestler turned actor ever.
You want to fight The Rock on this one?
He's a better actor than The Rock.
Ooh, it depends. Dave doesn't get the role. I feel like he doesn't get the range of roles to have that fight as easily.
But the thing of it is, The Rock is always The Rock.
That's true. It's like John Cena. It's always John Cena.
Yeah.
I wasn't having John Cena's fight. I think the reason I think The Rock I'd argue is a stronger fight is because he has more of a range to base his roles off of.
Well, okay, he has the comedic and then the action.
But Dave Bautista, before you want to say more movies, Guardians, Dave Bautista is actually a really funny character in moments.
Yeah. It's built as a funny character. He's not telling jokes.
But but it's totally
Rock
his
does.
but it's his delivery. If you put a bad actor in that role, his delivery wouldn't be as good.
Right. But legit, Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor.
Dave Bautista, even in Blade Runner, was for what we saw in that movie, he was good in that scene.
He's good in everything he does.
Oh yeah, doesn't he hate the WWE also?
Yeah.
Straight hates it.
Apparently also has a massive dick.
You would know.
No, I don't know.
You would know.
That's still my favorite story of whenever CM Punk was doing interviews
Hmm.
after he left WWE. That was always in the interview.
Hmm.
Does Dave Batista really have a giant dick? Because apparently that's apparently the rumor around the locker room is that Batista's got this massive dick.
Hmm.
Which, if he does, good for him. Like, dude's mad. Like, he's 6'4". Like, he could pick me up and throw me across the room.
That is true.
Oof.
Golly.
I'm reading the trivia of Dave Batista.
Oh
Uh,
no.
Teamed up with fellow Evolution members to attack Randy Orton just a few minutes after he defended his World Heavyweight Championship against Chris Benoit. Oof.
Oof.
Oh, man. That's a sad story. Anyway,
Nice. So
you
technically,
want to,
we're about to leave you all, but I'm technically not leaving you all, I guess.
I was going to say, you want to intro this, seeing as how this is this your first recorded interview? That's going to go up as, like, you doing the interview and not a written thing?
Yeah, yeah, I think it is actually.
Because I think on our
Everything else we've
other
done.
stuff, I think
It,
you just,
I've done,
like,
I've
wrote up a
done,
story about
I've
it.
done, yeah, other stuff, but not totally like a we sit down like with mics and go, here's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
So the game is Necrobarista. Um,
Barista, like a coffee maker?
Yeah, 100%. Like you're in a Japanese style coffee shop. That the whole point is, if I remember this correctly, is everyone in this coffee shop died, but Satan gave them 1 day to go back to this coffee shop on Earth and just hang out before they go to hell.
Oh,
So basically, you get like a bunch. It's all like anime style and it's a visual novel. So you get to deal with a bunch of basically weird fuck, and you just work at this coffee shop.
that's interesting.
It looks really cool and like talk to him like it sounded like really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I talked to Justin, who's the writer on the project. So it's very interesting to be like, what did you, what? And also, so we also got a little game nerdy for a bit. It's about a 20-25 minute interview. That you guys will get to enjoy now in a couple minutes, and it was fun. Obviously, check the game out. He shares all the social media stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, and then we'll put in the show notes down below. Check out the game. He said 2019, and I quote, Q2 2019, if I say anything else, the team will be upset. So,
Q2.
I think it's coming out in Q2 very reliably.
Yeah.
Uh, if I remember right, I think me and you probably get codes for that, so we'll go check it out when it comes out. It
Cool.
looks cool. So, like, it's totally a game. I know you're not big vision offers, but, like, the premise was enough where I go, this sounds like it could be cool. As long as it's written
Yeah.
good, like, it sounds cool. So,
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
I hope all of you enjoy it. AJ, you're gonna have to share your social media stuff now because I totally roasted you at the end of that one and didn't share your social media.
Yeah. So, for the time being, I'm at LoseyBoy on Twitter. LOSEYBOY.
Oh,
I'm looking to get Losey AJ. I tweeted at them. They haven't responded.
so everyone just tweet at Twitter. Help about this. That'd be great.
Well, no, I don't want people to go out of their way trying to get the tag for me. I want to get it myself.
Because you're saying if I got the tag, I would have it just to fuck with you.
Well, if you had it, I would, yeah, hope you fucked with me and then gave it over.
Wouldn't it be great if we just switched tags? Like we keep our same Twitter accounts, but we just switch our tags.
Well, so, okay. So the thing of it is, I think I have 3 or 4 Twitter accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have my main one. I have at LoseyBoy.
Mm-hmm.
I have Heads,
Okay.
which is the Twitter handle that was rarely used for the D&D thing you and I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have one that used to be Low C Films, I believe. It's now Generic Jericho,
Okay.
so it's my handle and everything else. And I think that's it. I may have one more, but yeah, I have a couple that if I need to sit on a tag, I have a couple others that I can,
Kind of rotate.
yeah, maybe
Okay.
blast through.
At D&D Peppermint is permanently banned on Twitter, so I don't get to use that one.
Is it really?
Yeah, no joke, and this is not a joke. I shared one political conservative thing at one time, and the next day I got a notification saying it was banned.
That's
This is
funny.
That's not a joke. That is a real thing that happened to me.
That's really funny.
Right? They put me in Twitter jail.
Did they tell you how long the ban was going to be?
It was an indefinite suspension, which if you look up what that means it means banned permanently. Because I broke terms of service, they said.
It should have been. I hope it was good.
Right? I don't remember what it was. It was like, what the fuck?
I hope whatever you shared was good.
Because it's all I got to share.
Exactly.
I was so pissed. I was like, what? Because the best part is when you're on the app, it doesn't tell you you're banned. So you have to go on the web browser. Because I could be like, why are my tweets not updating? Huh, that's weird. Go to the browser. I was like, what the fuck?
All right.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. We'll be back in a couple weeks with a normal, not 2 hour episode. We swear one of these once.
Well, still to be undetermined because we'll have a
That's true.
interview to tack on the end of that one as well. So yeah,
So,
everyone enjoy the interview between Mike and the guys from Necrobarista.
mhm.
See you later.
Bye bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of the SWW show. I'm Mike. I'm sorry. AJ's in a corner somewhere. We don't know where he is, actually. We let him be in his AJ ways. But today, I have a special guest with me of upcoming small game. So if you could just introduce yourself and where you currently work.
Yeah, I'm Justin Kuiper, and I work at Route 59 Games, which is an Australian development studio currently working on a little project called Necrobarista.
Nice. So for a first thing, are you Australian? Because I don't hear that in your accent really well.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I am I guess, for a long time was the sole American member on the team. So I didn't actually set foot in Australia for the first time until after I started working on this project.
Okay, see, that also explains a lot when we communicate. Because I was like, keep saying Eastern, and I keep looking. I'm like, there's no, I don't see an EST in Australia. So I was like, hope this is right.
Yep, you caught me in the part of the year when I am in the United States. I guess due to my visa situation, I can't spend more than half of the calendar year in Australia. So here I am in the Eastern United States.
Oof, okay, so we'll get into the game in a second, but I have to ask. My first general question then is, so how does working remote with a team halfway across the world work logistically then?
Oh, sorry about that. Um, Sorry, can you repeat the question? I got distracted
Oh,
by it a little
you're fine.
while.
So
Okay.
like, how does that work then? Because you're like halfway across the world in half the year.
Yeah, well, I guess one of the things that is a little bit nice about being hunkered down in production mode is we don't do meetings more than once or twice a week.
Okay.
So, in terms of times when I absolutely have to be on with the rest of the team in real time, it's not that often. And this is maybe something about me, but I'm a bit of a night owl. So, for most Americans, it would be unhealthy to be up while the rest of the team is. And maybe it's unhealthy for me, but I stay up late anyway.
Yeah, but you make video games. I think the rule is you have to be a night owl.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess the surprising part is that they're all in the office from, normal business hours.
See, from any studio I've worked at, that is totally not. I've totally been in studios where like, yeah, we'd say the meeting's 11 o'clock, so we hope everyone will be in by then. It's like places I've worked at. I'm like, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of me being like not in the country with the rest of the team, like even from our starting days, a lot of our work was done remotely, even on the Australian side, because it sort of started off as a non-commercial project before it grew into the thing that it is today. And when we were first starting off, we didn't have any studio space or anything. So a lot of the team meetings were still done remotely, even though, most of the team members could have, met on site if they wanted to. But it's just like everybody has a bedroom. And I guess that's where we're going to do this from.
Interesting. Okay, we'll get to the game in a second, but I'm more curious about you then. So right now, you said you're a writer on this. So how did you get to where you are? Like, have you done other games before? Or did you write other stuff?
Yeah, I guess like in terms of other commercial projects that I've worked on that you can play now, one of the games I worked on is called Cursed Lands. That is a Winter Wolves visual novel RPG hybrid that came out last year, and then I actually started working on that back around 2015, around the same time that I started working on Necrobarista as well. So back then it wasn't Necrobarista. I'm not sure how far you want to go back from the very beginning of how I sort of stumbled onto this project and became a part of the team that's developing it today.
As far back as you want to go, because I'm kind of intrigued then, because especially because it being like you being an American who's working in Australia, did you work? So you said you like were in America and went there for. It's not like you like found employment in Australia because you're there already, right?
Correct. Yeah. I guess my path to getting here is around 2014, 2015. I was sort of interested in visual novel development. I guess this is around the end of 2014, and specifically as a writer, because my background is in writing. In university, I actually took creative writing classes. I decided not to like get an English degree or anything, because one of the things I figured out is if you want to be an engineer, they care about like certifications. Especially I was a mechanical engineer, where they do actually care about you having a degree. Whereas if you submit like a book manuscript to like a publisher like Tor,
No one cares.
nobody in the office is going to be like, this is a pretty good manuscript, but wait a minute, does he have a degree? And I figured like, if I'm going to do either one of these things, I might as well get the engineering degree, and that can sort of be my backup plan. Yeah, and so anyway, I finished school around 2014, and then was working basically an IT job, but like looking for ways to sort of sink my teeth into the visual development community. And for a while, I spent a lot of time on a specific forum called the Lemmasoft, which is still an active forum today, and it is basically the default congregation place for Western visual novel developers. It's sort of the official forum for one of the main VN engines called RenPy. It's a Python DSL that probably like 90% of Western developers use. If you've heard of Doki Doki Literature Club,
Right.
it uses RenPy. Katawa Shoujo uses RenPy. So Long Live the Queen, Hanako Games uses RenPy. So anyway, it was at the time, and even to this day, is a pretty big development hub. And for a while, there was, and there still is, a classified forum where you can say, I'm a writer looking for work, or we're a project looking for a writer. And so there was a time when pretty much every single day I was going to the section. It was like, projects looking for writers, and pretty much everybody who put a posting saying we're looking for a writer, I would say, hey, this is who I am. Here's my portfolio. And then I would send them this packet, which was basically a list of short stories and things that I had worked on as a university undergrad when I was taking those creative writing classes. And one of the projects that I happened to hit up at the time was called Project Ven, which is what eventually grew into Necrobarista.
So my follow up to that then is why graphic novels? Because I personally kind of understand them because like I played so like Danganronpa, but like I never understood like it's not the biggest genre. I feel like in the way like I think there's a lot of those games, but it's not like a mass consumer genre with a few exceptions.
Yeah, I guess honestly that is a little bit of the appeal for me, because from my standpoint, like as someone whose only credential was I took a few creative writing classes at university and have a portfolio of short stories to send to people, like the idea of like, oh, if I want to work for a BioWare, I don't even know how to approach that kind of a thing. Whereas if I look at visual novel development, you have a lot more, people who are not necessarily looking for that level of if you want to be a upon. Visual novel development seemed like a pretty good place to do that, and it also seemed like the kind of place where I could actually like work on smaller projects non-commercially while I was waiting for maybe a commercial gig to show up. So, for example, there is this annual game jam on the Lemasoft forums called NaNoWriMo. It doesn't really mean it's sort of like NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month every November,
Okay.
except in March they have the game jam NaNoWriMo, which is basically make a visual novel or a renpai game. And I did those. I think it was in 2015 that I made one of those with another user on the forum who was basically just, I'm an artist starting up, and like, oh, I'm a writer just starting up. And we sort of put this thing together in the span of a month. And that was sort of, I guess, another sort of portfolio piece. Another thing that I would add to that is that it was a place where you could basically do everything by yourself if you had to. So you have a lot of like single person visual novel projects in renpai just because the scripting language is so simple. And especially for me, I have like a little bit of a programming background because, you know, I was schooled as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty straightforward for me to say like, okay, I can make one of these myself, and I'm not really at the mercy of some studio deciding to hire me. I guess the other thing that I would add is at the time that I joined Project Ven, that it was not this, you know, big commercial thing that it is today. At the time, it was just we're putting together a demo, and then once we have a demo, then we're gonna go looking for publisher backing and that sort of thing. But at the time, it was just a bunch of, you know, pre-money people trying to find other people of similar levels of perhaps inexperience. I would say that like a lot of our learning has been done in the course of our what has basically been at this point like a 4-year development cycle.
So, so basically, so this is your first giant project in a lot of ways. So it's very interesting that you went from like a doing like some other stuff to like a 4-year dev cycle on this very quickly. Are you, is this like time wise like what you expected to come on to, or is it like as we'll get into the project like, or is this like way bigger than you expected this to become?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch like the very first trailer that we ever released, it like we put out a trailer at the beginning of 2017 and it
Mm-hmm.
said coming October 2017, and that didn't happen.
Does that
So
mean?
I guess yeah, to give you a little bit of a context for that. So like 2017 started 2017 is like we had that first like gameplay demo that we had put together, and then we also had, you know, the trailer that we had put out which got us a bit of attention. And basically what we were able to do with that is say, here's our trailer, here is our gameplay demo, and then we got on planes to GDC, including the Australian members of the team, and basically went around talking to different publishers at that year's GDC. And that was where we were finally able to find a publisher, Coconut Island, who was willing to back our project. And that changed a lot of things. It gave us, for example, we're going to be fully localized for Chinese and Japanese audiences. We also, the length of the game, the scope of the game drastically increased based on the budget that we got from them. And so that was basically when we sort of realized, okay, the thing that we were planning on making is actually we're going to make it a lot bigger than we had originally planned on. And luckily we have a publisher to give us the resources to treat this like a full-time job while we do that. But up until that point, the only funding that we had gotten from our project was from a Australian Arts Board. So in Melbourne is in the state of Victoria, and there is an arts organization called Film Victoria, which gives grants to artistic projects such as video games. They want to support local video game development. And so that was something that had sort of helped us basically put together that original demo and also buy plane tickets to GDC, cover those expenses. But it wasn't really a commercial project that most of us were treating like our full-time job until that point. Until that point, it was sort of like an on and off thing.
So at this point, then, is it full time for the entire team, or you still have like some people who just kind of help out on the side?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I say the definition of team has also changed, right? Because at the beginning of 2017, when we were going off to GDC to talk to publishers, it was just our 4-person studio. and right now we're working with a lot more people. We hired an additional animator. We are working with contractors to provide things like music. Sorry, I would like to provide names, but I feel like if I start trying to name everybody, I'm going to leave somebody off. And so,
Oh, that's fine.
rather than do that, I'll just say check out our press kit to find a full list of everybody who is working on our game.
There was
They're
a lot.
awesome.
I was surprised for the size I expected the game to the amount of names I saw. I was like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. So I mean, like, so not everybody is working on the game full, right? Like, so for example, Kevin Penkin is our composer, but it's not like he is coming to the studio every day to work on music. He is, in fact, been in Europe for, I believe, a good portion of the development cycle, and so it's not as if he's like clocking in every day to work on this thing. Also, I guess one of the things is just like, for example, what I'm doing right now as a writer. Once we hit script lock, my involvement in the project drops off considerably. So I sort of get to break out of jail cell a little bit earlier than everybody else.
There has to be like a sigh of relief and extra stress at the same time, I assume, because you're like, okay, I'm done, but oh no, no
Yeah.
one else is done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I sort of feel like I'm, leaving the project in good hands. So I don't feel particularly nervous about that. But yeah, there is a certain element of, okay, I guess my contribution is done now, and all I can do is wait.
So I don't think we have actually said it yet. So can you give like what is like your version of the elevator pitch of this project?
Sure. So I guess, So this is something that I've like struggled with because there are two ways in which I can pitch Necrobarista. One is assuming that you know what a visual novel is and then just explaining what the story is. And then the other is if you are somebody who is totally unfamiliar with this game genre, and then I would sort of start at a different point. So which of those versions do you want to hear first?
I would assume people are at least familiar with it because I feel like stuff like Danganronpa or God, I forgot the name you mentioned earlier. Like I feel like there's a couple of these games that like kind of bubbled into the mainstream in a decent way.
Yeah. So we are a visual novel that is set in a fictional version of Melbourne, Australia, where there is a magical cafe where visitors from beyond the grave can return to enjoy one last cup of coffee and one last night among the living.
See, and
So,
I really like that pitch, and I was watching like your trailer earlier, and I really like the style of the game. I know you're the writer, but like in general, props Timo. Like the style, I feel like it's this really cool mixture of like I feel like anime, but like it reminds me of like 20s America in a lot of sense too, and the certain ways certain things are in color scheme wise.
okay. That's the first time I've heard anybody compare it to like 1920s America. I'm actually a little curious to if you said basically just the color palette is sort of what led you in that
I
direction.
think so. I think it's the way some of the colors are,
Hmm.
and for some reason like when you get to certain types of anime, like when you get to like cafe anime or Persona, I always feel like it reminds me of like the Japanese version of like a longing to like an earlier America in a lot of way. It's just the way even like culturally, because as much as Japan, for example, is a very provocative culture, there's very like conservative nature in a lot of the way they do a lot of things in public there too, which is this weird mixture I always feel like together.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of interesting places where like Japanese culture does borrow from Western culture. Like the whole like I don't know, like maid cafe thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that's borrowed from, the French maid aesthetic. And here I am calling it the French maid aesthetic, not knowing if it's something that actually originated in France. But that seems like a kind of thing that had a Western origin and then was eventually, borrowed by Japan. And now you think of maid cafes as like this Japanese thing. Um, not to say like that's something that we're intentionally trying to do or that's the kind of aesthetic we're trying to convey, but we definitely did want a sort of uh anime-ish aesthetic, sort of your persona look. That's definitely what we're going for in terms of like, an urban fantasy situation where the characters all look hip before they look magical.
Mm-hmm. So another thing with this game, so I assume visual novel inherently there's a ton of writing behind it. How do you like control the scope always in the writing when it's a visual novel and it's very writer heavy, for example? When it came to something like
Yeah, this
this.
sure. I mean, I guess like I'm not really sure to how to answer this question apart from, write the thing. One of the things that we did try to do very early on is sort of like, you know, decide on a concept and then get approval from the rest of the team, and then I come up with an outline and then get approval from the rest of the team, and then I'll come up with a more detailed outline for a specific part and get approval from the rest of the team. And basically this process where I'm checking in with the rest of the team, such that it's not like, oh hey guys, I wrote the entire script and hope you like it, because it's too late to change it at this point. I'm not sure if like that's really what you're asking, or if there was something else that you were getting at.
I think it's more of like the idea of like a game like this. I could see get out of scope real quick in the sense of like oh yeah, this is totally gonna be 5 or 10 hours, and then also you start writing it and start writing like it's the whole like it's the opposite of writer's block of like nope, this is totally not a thing we can do anymore. But like I kept going, and like or even like the idea of like having characters fleshed out in a visual novel of like you can only either have a lot of non-fleshed or very few extremely fleshed characters, for example. And like I feel like a lot of the stuff how they all connect is where it gets interesting, and scope, for example.
Yeah, so I guess like what you talk about, like the opposite of writer's block, where it's like, oh man, I have so many ideas, I just can't stop. That was never really an issue. I just, from the way that I write, I usually tend to plan things out and outline them. And so I'll sort of like figure out like, okay, this is what the character's arc is going to be. And then once I, write that story, then it's like, okay, and now the arc is concluded. And, maybe I can make alterations at that point, but it's not as if it's like, oh, and I have to expand on this more. I guess one of the things that is true about our game is that we have intentionally constructed it as a sort of series of vignettes. So there is a certain element of non-linearity, just because we're working in a visual medium. So it's not as if like you're sitting down and reading a novel cover to cover. We're writing each scene with the understanding that some people are gonna see these out of order. Some people are going to want to play a 15-minute chunk and then jump over to some other part of the story. And because of that, it's pretty easy to like conceive of each of scene as like this sort of self-contained thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we decide early on, it's like, okay, we had ideas for like 40 different scenes. We're only going to have an asset budget for like 30 scenes. So how do you convey the stuff that was in 40 scenes and 30 scenes? And then at that point, you sort of like rejigger the outline and say, okay, these things can be, sprinkled in other parts of the story. So that's sort of how things have gone.
Interesting. So speaking of like this game, and speaking of just graphic novels in general, like what do you think of the? Because it's obviously a very poignant, I feel like, critique of these types of games, and where it's people are instantly like, why am I not just reading a book or a comic? Like, what makes it like the idea of it being a game, for example?
Yeah, so we definitely do have a certain interactive element to it. So we are sort of borrowing some elements from point and click adventure games, in the sense that there are like exploration sequences where you're actually navigating around the environment. It is like this 3D environment that most of the time you're sort of clicking through and viewing the story from these like sort of predetermined camera angles, and it's not like we're going to let you pan around and stuff. But then during the exploration sequences, it's more up to you, like what are the things that you find that are particularly interesting. So one of the things we're trying to do is like pace the game in a way where you will sort of experience the story in a linear fashion through like these visual novel sequences, and then you will get a chance to explore the cafe where everything is taking place. And like maybe you heard in dialogue like somebody mention a specific location that you want to then check out, or you heard a certain character is something you want to investigate. And by directing your attention to certain parts of the cafe, that will affect which like story segments are available to you next.
Interesting. So, like, is stuff in this game, for example, like missable in the sense of like I have to replay the entire thing then, or am I gonna see everything at some point?
We want to be able to let you see everything that you want to see in a given playthrough.
Okay.
But we do think that like there are certain things that you can sort of get out of a second playthrough, like not in terms of like the content that you see, but how to put this, right? If you're focusing on like one particular character's arc, like I feel like there's like a limit to the number of satisfying conclusions that you can like squeeze into a single playthrough. And if you like you're trying to do multiple of those, it may not it's sort of like you're splitting your attention.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm doing a poor job of explaining that.
No,
Do-
I think I understand in my head, and what's going on is the world around. It's one of the things that, like, and tell me if I'm wrong, completely off base. It's the world around me is still moving, and I only have so much time to kind of look where I want to look, in some way.
yeah, I guess it's one of those things where we feel like if you want to see stuff during a single playthrough, we don't want to like force you to play multiple times if you want to see everything on a single playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like the way that I tend to like these kinds of games is to just do one playthrough that's like sort of like an organic playthrough as opposed to like a completionist thing. And then once I've sort of like felt my way through this and seen like the natural consequences of the decisions that I made, that's the point at which I'll like go to a walkthrough maybe and say like, oh, what are the things that I might have missed, that sort of thing.
Okay, okay. So, are you, and maybe the way you wrote it, you purposely are kind of this. Are you concerned maybe that like you'll have the completionists who will get like too overwhelmed with this in the other sense? Do you think, or do you think you've written hopefully in a way where like they'll just be pulled in a direction where they'll kind of forget their completionist instincts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's so that is why it is possible to see everything. I think in a given playthrough, even if that's maybe not what we expect most people to do naturally. Because if you are the kind of person who's not going to be satisfied moving forward with the story until you've like uncovered every stone,
Mm-hmm.
then like maybe that's what you find satisfying, as opposed to like, oh, I'm just going to focus on one thing. So like that's I guess it's a general thing of game designers, right? Just because I'm not that kind of player doesn't mean that we don't want to like have the game set up so that those kinds of players can get what they want out of the game. But like the way that I tend to think of it is when I'm trying to explain it is the way that I would play through it.
Okay, okay, that's fine. So as we're getting towards the tail end of this, I have a question. Because I was looking through kind of like your character list. I know which my favorite is of the things you revealed. What is your favorite character, do you think, in the game that you've announced, and like what makes him your favorite?
Ooh boy, this is like
I know I'm making you choose your children.
Yes, yes. Hmm. I guess one of the characters that I'm kind of partial to is his name is Nakamoto,
Okay.
and he is a Japanese. He's a yakuza boss, and I guess I kind of like him because he's got a more of a straight villainous side to him, and I think that like in a lot of times you have like characters that are like different shades of gray morally, and I think that it's kind of fun in that context to just have one character who's like no moral ambiguity here. He's just a mean tough dude.
See, that's so interesting because like I know you're doing like Eastern style, so it's that type. Where in Western style, it's totally you'd be like, here's your straight business person. When Eastern, it's like, here's your gang person. In Western, it's like, here's Jeff Bezos, whoever. Like you just put him in like someone in a super powerful role of businessy. And I just find it interesting, like the way the cultures and the way you're telling stories like change who their villain is, for example.
Yeah, I guess that's not something that I had thought about too much, but like that it definitely is like there were certain like I'm not sure what you would if you would consider that like a villain motif, but yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about.
The one I'm intrigued by for sure. Looking at like the character notes is the guy named Ned. Um,
Ah, yes.
I don't know, just something about like the giant guy with that head. Like just goes, I go, what is that? Like it just like instantly like stuck out to me, kind of thing.
Yeah, he is definitely not like the others.
No, and I think that's very impressive when I was looking up of like I feel like every character I've seen like very much has a distinct like nope, I would not confuse them because there's a lot of games you walk out and be like that one guy who's kind of like the other guy. Like this game, I'm like I think I'd at least be able to give it enough description. I'm going to be like yeah that one, not like misconfusing the same people.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've really appreciated, and I guess I will call out our character Nakvu, who I think one of the things that I really like about her character designs is that they do inspire that sense of intrigue that's like, ooh, what's this person's deal?
So yeah. So if you don't mind, as we get to the end, then one more time go over what is the game, and then where can we find it? And I know I don't think you've announced a date, but roughly of what you can say when you'd find the game.
Yeah, so I guess the game is Necrobarista. You can find more information about it at necrobarista.com. Our release date right now, we're just saying, early 2019. That could mean Q2. I'm not sure that my the PR guys want me to say any more than that.
And that's fine.
But
I'm not
yeah.
pushing you. Oh, I'd push you way harder if I wanted to push you. It's fine. But yeah, I'm excited definitely to see about the game. I don't know if you have social media, or if you want people to be able to find you, or you want to go back into your abyss.
Yeah, well, I guess so. If you're looking to follow the project on Twitter, it is at Route 59 Games, and if you're looking for just me on Twitter, I am at Just Kuiper. That's JUST, or sorry, JUST, and then Kuiper is spelled KUIPER. It's a Dutch name that I guess you know it isn't as phonetic as other names. So yeah, that's me.
Oh, it's fine. My last name's Maroney, and it's O-N-E is how it pronounces. So if you think I haven't pronounced like moron 1,000 times, you'd be wrong. So it's fine. Because I understand when you say names don't make sense a lot of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to really thank you for joining me, Justin. I appreciate this conversation, learning more about like how you thought about games and learning about the game itself. I'm definitely excited to see it. Remember, you could check out this podcast twice a month. We are the SWW Show on iTunes, any podcast services of your choice. You can follow us on social media at the SWW Show on Twitter or on Facebook, and you can follow me on Twitter at Mikey_Maroney. I'm sorry, AJ does not get his Twitter sling. He was not here. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good time.